Good evening. Um, pickups. It's been quite a while since I've done these. I have quite a bit to do, so we'll try to keep it quick. I have a lot of big stuff, so there might be a bunch of rumbling and rattlings and whatnot. But anyway, I now let's just get going. These are stuff that are on my shelf right now for display. My mom got me these what do you call them, like commemorative cups, because I had a Mario one that I got for my birthday, which had all the characters, which is probably my favorite one. But I actually use it, and my mom's like, well, I don't want you using them to drink. I thought you were going to put them on yourself, so you got me these. I really don't like cheesy stuff like this. Like, if it was just the art, I would be fine with it. But when I get gifts, I try to make use of them. This one's a bit more tasteful, in my opinion. But these are on my shelf, just sitting there. These Nozomi figures I got when I went on vacation to, I want to say my state's capital. I'm pretty sure I got them then. They're really cute. They actually found a decent amount of Love Life stuff at stores and stuff. They're not my favorites, honestly, but it was Nozomi. I felt like I had to get something. And then this, I really like. This is a Pikmin. I think it's called like an Emporium or something like that. You know those like mini like grass houses with like a bunch of different like plants, and sometimes there'll be a couple bugs and stuff that people keep. It's like one of those. I can't quite show it without, but there's a ghost Pikmin hanging on the top. Or a ghost rather, it just fell off. But I had to get this imported because it was Japan only. But it was really fun putting it together, kind of like a Lego set or something. It's got this nice bottom. I really like this thing. And then, I don't know if no, I'm sure I've showed that off. Okay, let's go. The next. I got a ton of games this time around. I've been really gaming a lot. Let's do this. I have this giant book. This is Godzilla the First 70 Years. Just insane book. I heard about this from a Godzilla YouTuber I watch, and I was like, that looks cool. And I happened to be, at this same exact time, I was curious about, or I was wanting to write a book in my composition class about Godzilla. So I just got it so I can use it as a reference material. That was like my excuse, and it happened to be on sale for like $40 off. This thing's huge. I want to read it someday. It's massive. It's really heavy as well. But I've got a bunch of these types of books that I need to get into, that I own already. The only one I've really read so far is the Sonic one. I guess since we're doing big stuff, and get some of these consoles out of the way. We have this up first. Probably my favorite of what I've gotten so far. Sega Saturn. This is a Japanese one. So that's why it's like cream white colored rather. It's really, really clean. Really, really nice system. Now that I open this, I remember I have gotten some Saturn games, and I don't know where they're at. Actually, hopefully they're in the pile, but if not, I'll pull them out. It's a really nice system so far, and while I have this, let me get the controllers. Yeah, the normal pad, it matches colors with the system. I really like this color. Very Japanese, if that makes sense. I think it's been yellowed a bit, so it's kind of cream colored, but honestly, it still looks pretty good. And then here I have the Saturn 3D pad, which I got much more recently. I suppose that's what the color of the console is supposed to be, this gray color. But yeah, so that's the Sega Saturn. Oh, yep. And then I got this a bit after. This is the it has a name, but not on this one. There's a bunch of different ones, but it's basically like I could show you in the back the features of it. Oh yeah, it's a pseudo Saturn Kai, but it's got a RAM cart, Some games use that to make them look better and have like better animations and stuff. It's region free. That was my main one, because and a memory card, which is awesome. Because the thing with the Sega Saturn is like I wrote it off. I pretty much wrote it off in my mind because I heard it was expensive. The Dreamcast is too, but the Dreamcast is not as expensive as the Saturn. But I wrote it off for the longest time. But someone told me recently about how easy imports are on the system and how cheap they are. And I ended up looking into it more and more, and I was like, yeah, this seems pretty viable. I ended up getting one. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I can finally experience that library. Next up, we have an Xbox 360e. I've actually had this for quite a while. You probably may or may not know. I'm sure I've talked about it here and there. But I repair stuff nowadays, like consoles and stuff. Over time, like the past like year or two, I've become more and more accustomed to repairing stuff on my own, and mostly game systems and such. But this was in a Facebook lot that I got with a bunch of broken systems, and this one actually worked just fine. It just needed for the Xbox 360e, it has like an external like HDD or what have you, like a hard drive. It just pulls right out. That's another thing I got, was this. All I needed was this so it could run. If it doesn't have one, it won't run. But I do have another one that is broken besides that. But that's my main 360 at the moment, because my old 360 has been acting up. I guess we'll keep going with consoles since they're on the outside of everything. Next up, the NES. This was with the that lot of the Genesis and SNES that I got last time, but I didn't. It wasn't working like right out of the box. Honestly, the SNES weren't either. I had to clean them first. But this had a bit more that I had to do to get it working. But it's working now, and I haven't played much of it, but it feels surreal to finally have, which is pretty much the grandfather of Nintendo. You know, this thing is referenced so much and so much iconography. I own stuff with NES iconography, but I never even had one. I could actually feel like I'm actually qualified now that I have one. And now that I say that, I don't have the controller. I'll have to find that. Maybe later. I have to remember to find. We're having like a checklist of stuff as we do this. And then this is on top of it. But this is the NES Classic Edition. This was actually in that same lot that I got the 360 from. This one worked just fine. I don't know why it was in there. And it had these wireless controllers that I'd never seen before. But they work okay. I'm playing Final Fantasy on this thing. I probably won't keep it, but for the time being, I have one of these, which is pretty cool. I remember wanting one when they came out, but they were pricey. They were outside of my range at the time, and then they were hard to find when they first came out because of Nintendo making them sparse. Okay, so these 3 games, and there's actually a 4th one, but I can't find it. It's Castlevania Legends. It's the last 2D or Game Boy Castlevania release, but and this is Mega Man World 5 and Mega Man World 4, at least in Japan. That's why it says World on that one. But Mega Man 4 and Mega Man 5 on Game Boy. This is actually the color hack of it, and then this is just a reproduction of the regular one. This game is insanely expensive. Why this wasn't on the Castlevania Anniversary Collection is beyond me. I guess they thought, we have the NES version, no need for the Game Boy version, even though they're very different. And then these 2 are very pricey, and the only thing I found out why is because they're both considered very good. The first 3, however, are not nearly as pricey. And Castlevania Legends is also very expensive. Why that one wasn't on the collection, I think it's because of the lore reason, which is stupid. The old series producer, I think his name is Keiji Igarashi or something like that. He created like an official timeline at the time when he was over the series, in which he outed Mega Man Legends from the canon timeline at the time. But if that's the reason they didn't include it in the anniversary collection, I think that's very, very stupid and nonsensical. But anyway, the first three, these are legit because these are cheaper. These two are not very pricey. This one is a bit more. And then we've got Mega Man Legends, or Mega Man Extreme, and F1 Race. I don't remember why I bought F1 Race, but I have it now. I think I just heard it was good, so I want to try that at some point. And then these are in preparation for whenever I play Mega Man X. These are pretty decently pricey, but it's kind of cool how this one's a Game Boy Color. You can see right here a good example of if you're ever confused about Game Boy carts and which ones have color and which ones don't and whatnot. You have the gray carts regular carts, the gray carts. Then the black one, usually the solid color ones are just the black ones. Minus like Pokemon Red and Blue. These are Game Boy carts that are enhanced. They have Game Boy Color palettes, basically. So they can be played on both Game Boy and Game Boy Color systems. And then the clear ones with the bubble at the top, these are Game Boy Color exclusives. So that's pretty good. That's really cool. Example, as I say that, I see that I have more cartridges that I completely missed, including Game Boy Legends. That's the other reproduction I have. This one's also, I think part of the reason they're pricey is because they weren't included in that collection, so I think the prices have gone up over time. And then the last one I have is Game & Watch Gallery. I'm trying to get all four of these. This is the first one. So I have 1 and 4 I need to get. And I think I already own 2, actually, now I say that. Or I already own 3, now I say that. I just need Gallery 2. We can take a break from cartridges. We can do, I've got a ton of disc games and piles and stuff. So we can do a small pile right here. First up, we've got, what do we got here? We got Monster Hunter Freedom. I think I bought these in the same order, but obviously this is, I gotta play this part of Mega Man. This one's actually pretty pricey, and this one's just hard to find for whatever reason. I think because people usually go to Freedom Unite, which is Monster Hunter 2. I already have Monster Hunter on PS2, but since I'm playing the final versions of every Monster Hunter, or I plan to, and stuff like 3 Ultimate is the only version. Was it 3 Ultimate? 4 Ultimate's the only version that got like translated in the West anyway. That's the only one we got over here is the final version. Or stuff like, I guess Iceborne is DLC, isn't it? What's another one? We never got the second game, DOS. We only got like version 2 and 3 on PSP, so I might as well just go with the last version. So that includes Monster Hunter Freedom here, which is the last version of Monster Hunter 1. And then Powered Up, like I said, I gotta get to that. I already had Sonic 06 on PS3, but PS3 really stinks for third-party games and performance, so you want to go with the 360. This is not a cheap game. I think it's because it never got re-released or anything. It's not even on Xbox backwards compatibility, which kind of sucks. I feel like better load times maybe on backwards compatibility would have been great. But yeah, I finally got that. Peter Jackson's King Kong. I hear incredible things about this game, and I've been wanting to play it. Free movie ticket. Ooh, I've been wanting to play it for a while. I was iffy on should I get the last gen version or the next gen one, but it seems like it was developed for last gen, so I just go with that. Even though the 360 version, in some aspects looks better, in some aspects look worse. Anyway, I think I'll be safe with this, and the Xbox One's the best of the most powerful system in the system that generation. So most of the time, third parties are gonna play and look the best on the Xbox. Double Dash finally got this one. Very happy to get this. This one fluctuates. Usually it's about $70 game, but every once in a while you'll see it go up like $10, like $80. I got this one for like 60. So you just gotta wait. You gotta look, and then you'll grab grab what you want. I finally got this. I've been getting a big giant box set of this from the library for like the last year, watching bits and pieces of it. I just finally went ahead and bought it because somebody was selling them cheap. I got this alongside with the Sonic Underground. So I have this and this, and I have I already had Sat AM, so now I have all three complete series of 90s Sonic on DVD. I just need Sonic X and in Boom someday. Oh, I guess in Prime, but I don't know if that's going to be on DVD. Anyway, the Ghibli Steelbooks. I might have another one. Maybe we'll wait. We'll wait on this, and then we'll talk about it. But last but not least, certainly not least, Castlevania Dominus Collection. Unfortunately, this is an unfortunate trend, and you'll see today in my pickups that I've got a number of limited run releases. That's the only physical that we got is the limited run. They've been peddling it off to like limited run physical games in general, which really stinks. Like, please, if you're a giant company like Konami, just do it yourself, so you don't have to be like on top of the ball to get a pre-order. Which I didn't get. Thankfully enough, VGP exists, which I love VGP, and they usually get limited run releases, like actual like stock of them, and not just a limited stock, so they sell them there. But I really absolutely, I should be getting these from my local Walmart or something like that. These companies really need to do better. We'll go ahead and do the next stack, I suppose. We'll do a bigger one. That one was a little small. Try not to drop anything. Okay, first up, I got this recently. This is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I wasn't gonna buy it, but I like a YouTuber that I follow. A lot of people in that space, they play this game, and I do want to join in. And it's like, so I went ahead and bought it. I finally got it for like $30, or like 35-ish, so like half off of the crazy $70. There's no way I'm spending $70 for this. I don't want to support that business model. Because I didn't get into it that much, but I'll say that for another time. I finally got it recently, and I want to try it at some point to play along with people. I was iffy on it because of Xbox. I don't want to pay Xbox Live. I don't want to pay any subscription service to play online. I think that's crazy. But anyway, finally got that. Got this recently, House of the Dead. The English version is very pricey, like very, very pricey. Apparently it's like really late into the system. But this one's really cheap in comparison. Like the English version goes for like 200 and this was like 20 something. So like 10 times difference. This one's an interesting one. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on Xbox One. So I have this on 360, or I had it. And I've been playing through the zombie modes on Call of Duty lately. I've been looking ahead at the next games, like season passes and stuff, but you can't. Some of these older games, older Call of Duties, they don't go on sale on certain systems. So like the 360 version of this, the season pass doesn't go on sale, and you might say, why does it matter like about a sale? Like, but the season passes are usually like almost full price, and then on sale they're like 20 or something like that. So it's a big difference. So in these games, they're usually like less than $10. You know, you find them everywhere. I paid like $3 for this, $3 or $4. I bought one and it didn't work, and so I had to go and buy another one. Thankfully, they had another one. But this and Ghost were cross-gen releases, and only the Xbox One versions have season passes that go on sale. So I've been rebuying those to get them on Xbox One. Here's the compendium. I got this afterwards, so this kind of works out more. The compendium to the Dominus Collection. Castlevania Advanced Collection. This is crazy. I have them on 2 different systems, but it's fine. Advanced Collection. Actually, I think the Dominus Collection was only PS5 and not PS4. I could be completely wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So for this and the Dominus Collection, it's like, well, why buy them? You have a GBA, you have a DS. One, the prices, they're not insane, but most of the prices for this trilogy and the DS Castlevania trilogy are like full price each. So this is just kind of a cost saver, even though obviously I prefer to have my games in the original format, stuff like that. I'm a-okay saving some money and buying a collection like this, especially when it's quality release. Again, this was limited run only. I got it from VGP, thank goodness. On sale too. Anyway, but I got this because I wanted Castlevania Dracula X, which I think only released on SNES and maybe nothing else. Maybe like Virtual Console, that was it. And then Dominus has Castlevania, or not Castlevania, has Haunted Castle Revisited. So that's a brand new game on that. Haunted Castle Revisited. Sorry, I like spurred together my words there. So, and here's another from VGP. Some of these I got to fill out of order, like this Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. This has all the DLC on it. I don't think you can buy the DLC for the original anymore. If you can, it's probably full price because the PS3 store doesn't get sales. But I was okay rebuying this. It was pretty cheap. And then Terminator Resistance. The complete edition just came out, I think. And this has, does it say? It doesn't say here, but basically this has the main game and the DLC in it, I think. And the DLC is pretty, like, significantly big. From what I understand, this Teon, I think they develop it. They do pretty big, like, standalone release DLCs. So I just got that, so I have both of them in there. This was in here for whatever reason. This is more Rinrin merch, I believe. Or in one of my last ones. I got the acrylic stand, which is very cute. And then another Checky, although this was maybe on the grounds where this might have been in a previous one. I'm not sure, but it's cute. Rinrin merch. They've been doing very good lately in terms of their ventures. Ford Racing, my dad somewhat recently, he's been getting Ford Racing 2 and 3 on Xbox, but the first one was only on last gen systems. I think it was only on PlayStation. I don't know if it got 7 released, but I just got it on PlayStation. You can see it's cracked. It was probably pretty cheap. I'm not too fussed about it though. I got some manga here as a good change of pace. More Dragon Ball 3 ones. I did see, now I haven't read them yet, but I was checking, and these do seem to have a different translation, I think, which is obviously big news for me. I think I expressed in one of my previous ones that I was worried that these would be the same translation as the first Viz release. I was looking at the opening, like the credits and stuff, and it seems like they got some different people, so hopefully it's a lot better than the Viz one. Even though the Viz one isn't terrible, it's got some stuff I really don't like about it. I've already said in previous ones why I'm getting this version exactly, but that's a bigger boon to it. And I'm almost done with it. I think I've got like 4 more, and then I've got the entire original story, which is awesome. I bought those from the same place as the last one, the local, like, actually it's like a DVD store, I would say. It's got games too, but it's mostly DVDs. I believe this was here as well. I just got it to get, like, buy 2, get 3, get 1 free, stuff like that. I believe this was here as well. Now I'm very iffy on this. I forgot I bought this, but I have a few of these now. Pokemon season, like the complete seasons. And I'm like, do I really want like 20 something seasons of Pokemon? Because that's going to fill up a whole row. I don't have a ton of space to begin with. And how often am I going to be rewatching realistically? Although it will make watching well when I just have them. I don't have to worry about the Pokemon channel, which cycles out episodes. I don't have to wait, or I don't have to like miss and then have to wait like months later till the episode that I wanted to watch comes back. This is Forza Motorsport. I don't know if this was in the last one, but apparently there's a version, which is what I have here, that has the Xbox Live Arcade like games on there. I don't know if I rebought it with this. It's a very cheap game, so I had no problem with that. If I did, I'm not sure if I did. Anyway, but yeah, I have that. It's got some Xbox. I need to play this soonish. Same with Gran Turismo 1. I got this Sega Genesis Classics. This got delisted recently, unfortunately. I don't know why. Sega has been delisting like crazy as of late. Is that Space Harrier? I didn't know he was in this. It must be Space Harrier 2. Anyway, all of these collections. I had the PSP one back in the day. I still have it. And then I also, one of my previous pickups before I started the videos, I got the 360 one because each one of them, I've been looking into it lately, they have different games. And the value proposition, because that was like less than $30, the value proposition just for some of these Genesis games is absolutely there. So I went ahead and got that. And then even it's just like 3 or 4 games that are on Genesis that I don't have. Most of the time it's like really pricey games like Alien Soldier or something like that. We got Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. And RE7 Gold Edition. I got this to test it with the VR, even though I have VR testing discs, and I guess that's a good segue, but give me a second on that. Collection 2, I have the Legacy Collection 1 digitally on 3DS. I got that when the store was shutting down, and Capcom was putting everything for like $2 each, which, thank you, Capcom. And then I also have the Anniversary Collection on the Xbox, but the Anniversary Collection goes up to 8. The Legacy Collection 1 goes up to 6. And I don't think you can get 9 and 10 anymore by themselves. And if you can, I don't know if you can get the DLC. So I just for 9 and 10 I had to get this, but also 7 and 8. Even if you could get a 9 and 10 digitally, 7 and 8 are not that good on the Anniversary Collection from what I hear. So this is going to pay for itself. Never mind whatever extras it might have. And like I said, I got this mostly for the future. It's EU version for whatever reason, but I was trying to find the Gold Edition for a while, and I finally found it because I got a PSVR. So I actually, in that same lot with the NES Classic and Xbox 360E, the reason I don't show off broken systems is because I might have to get rid of them, or like, so if I usually just show them off if I fix them and I decide to keep them, then they become part of my collection, you know? So I have one of these, but it's broken. I'll show you. It's missing one of the eye things. But the thing was, in order for me to even test it, I need like a slew of accessories and wires and stuff. It's honestly kind of a mess to even use it. So I couldn't even test it if it worked, if it just needed the eye replacement, or if it was fundamentally broken, like on the hardware side. But I happened to find someone selling one on Facebook with all the stuff, and it was like $50, which is pretty much all the accessories you can get for this thing go for about $50 minus the headset. So I pretty much have another headset. But The only thing with this is like you can see the fabric is like coming off, and it just continues to come off. It's also like filthy. I've cleaned it a bunch of times and it's still filthy. I just can't get it quite clean like I want it. I honestly feel very dirty when I use this thing. But anyway, I'm gonna try to fix the other one and then keep that one, and then get rid of this one. Even though these things are quite cheap. The thing with VR, this is my first VR headset, so it's like very exciting. But the thing with VR is it's pricey for one. That's something that the PSVR does not have. The base PSVR is very cheap, and it's, I guess we can do more accessories like that since we're doing that. It's pricey for one, and then the PSVR and the PSVR 2 have exclusives. Unfortunately, there's a lot. There is a lot of exclusives when it comes to PR. I mean, not even just PSVR, but just VR ecosystems in general. It's kind of a mess. There's no like end-all be-all solution, which really stinks. Anywho, we've got these three Xbox, again, same lot as the Xbox 360e and the PSVR. So I've had these, but now I'm trying to think. I think all of them worked, but they had issues and whatnot. But I recently, it probably doesn't look like them. I recently took them apart, cleaned all of them. And they're pretty good now. They work. They're good. This one's a little finicky, but the other two are great. I finally tested them out and they work and they're good. Actually, scratch that. I got a lot recently with working stuff, and I got them for a very good price. Yeah, I got them for a very good price. And I think these were in here. Like I said, these were dirty, so I went ahead and I'm going to keep them because we need 360 controllers. And they're wireless, so, and it's awesome. So I might get rid of one of them at some point, but it's nice. So I have 3 more controllers and they work great. I went in and cleaned them. They're working like spiffy. They're very good. But yeah, that's another one. Speaking of that other lot, I got, I'm trying to think what all was in there. I think most of it I'm deciding to sell. It was a bunch of games, which is in a pile we haven't gotten to. That's why I haven't talked about it yet. But another thing is, there was a Wii U in there. They threw it in like last minute. They were like, hey, for 20 extra bucks, I got a Wii and Wii U. I was like, yeah. So obviously it's like super dirty. I gotta clean it and replace the sticks at some point, but it works. I tested it. I got the console sitting right below me. I tested it. It works. I think I might keep it like for a backup Wii U. I know I've been iffy about keeping systems like that. I really don't want a bunch of duplicate systems, but I think I may. Is in the living room. And my family primarily uses it, so I don't always have time to use it. And for streaming purposes, maybe it would be good to get my own that I could have up here, even though that is kind of a lot. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I've talked about that in streams and stuff. But I'm trying to think of what else was in that lot. I guess, didn't I say there was a Wii and Wii U? And so we could probably continue with these systems again. I got a Wii. What's nice is, so there was a Wii in the first lot that I've been talking about all this video, but I sold it because obviously I didn't need one. But I've got another one now, and I'm like, this one's in a bit better condition. I did buy another door though. These doors are always gone on the used Wii, but this one's in better condition, and it's got the GameCube backwards compatibility, which is the preferred Wii, obviously. So I got another one that came in. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one, and so I've modded it since I play Mario Kart online with it, and Mario Kart mods as of late. And then our final system here Not really another system, but this is just, oh, it comes with a bonus. This is just the Super Nintendo. This is one of the Super Nintendos that I got last time. Obviously, if you remember, I got two. It's a reshell, which I do like to put reshells on here since I think they're significant enough. This beautiful see-through purple. I love this thing. It's transparent. I'm usually not a big fan of these kind of a gaudy reshells, but it needed one because it was very, very brittle. The shell, the original shell, it was like coming apart. Like you could barely touch it and it would break off. I like the stickers on it. It makes it look official. And then I got this recently. This is a Super Game Boy 2. This is another release. I don't know what it is with the translucent on this pickups, but I'm kind of like, did I really need it? No, I'll go ahead and get it. But this, well, I guess the 4K fits that better than Crystal. But anyway, I decided to go with the 2 because the first one has speed up issues. I really don't need one, like I said, but the custom palettes are like, I really want that, you know. Although I did, because Pokemon Red and Blue, I'm used to the Super Game Boy palettes because that's how I first played Blue. So going back to Black and White, I'm really iffy on. The Game Boy Advance doesn't have these palettes, only the Super Game Boy does. The Game Boy Color / Game Boy Advance. And then, so the Super Game Boy 2 fixes those, but it's only JP, so I had to find one. You can fix the original Super Game Boy to mod it so it plays right and the sound is right, but after you buy a kit and a normal one, which that fluctuates in price to a normal Super Game Boy, it's about the same price, which was like $50, which is what I paid for this. But we're making use of it. I'm playing Red on this thing. I did find out though that recently that Pokemon Stadium also has the custom palettes. It's the only other place you can find them, which now I'm like, well, that was part of the reason I even justified it. Like the cost of it was, the worth of it was I was going to play Pokemon on it, but I still might. I have been anyway. And then there's still like DK94 and stuff like that. So it's going to get used, and it's pretty much another Game Boy, you know. So like I traded, this one also has trading capabilities, so it's pretty much another Game Boy. So I traded the other day with the Game Boy player on the GameCube and the Super Game Boy on the SNES. I didn't even use like portable system. I used home systems to trade. It's so silly when you think about it. But it's cool. It's cool. And it looks amazing. The translucent like aqua blue on the translucent purple system. It's really cool. Yeah, that's the reshell. Obviously I've already had one, but and the Super Game Boy 2. Go ahead and, oh yeah, there was a Wiimote with the Wii. Show that real quick, and then since I'm getting stuff off behind me, I just recently got this 2026 calendar. I had no plans for a calendar this year. I just saw this at Walmart. I'm like, okay, I'll just get it. Since we done Sonic already, I did see a 35th anniversary Sonic one that I really liked. I've already done Sonic. I just got a generic Mario one, which is fine, you know. What do we got? To go with the PSVR, I got PS Moves. I just found out the other day that these need cameras to work. I didn't know that. I got PS Moves so I can use them with the PSVR because I think you need them, ? Or you don't need them, but they're an option and they're way better. So once I found out that I didn't need them, I thought I did. I was like, oh, well, I kind of paid for something I kind of didn't need. One of them came with the PSVR, which also, that boosted the $50 that I paid for it. Because these things are like at least 15 to 20. This one I paid for, I think. The other one I paid for. But since then, there is some PS3 light gun games. So I'll make use of them with that. And what's nice is PlayStation has kept these alive since the PS3. So PS4, I can use them for VR games and such. And PS5 also, they're compatible. So I'm sure I'll get some use out of them. I haven't even tested them, so I don't even know if they work. I'm gonna go back to my stacks, I think, for a bit. At least a small one. Although we have a ton of accessories and stuff, so maybe I'll finish off the bed now that I think about it. We recently got OEM Genesis controller. This is kind of the same with the NES, where I'm like, although the Genesis controller that I got, it's small. It's like half the size, maybe not half, but it's like from here, like to here, that's how big it is. I played with it and I was having button issues and it just didn't feel great because it was obviously like a no brand knockoff controller. And since I got this one, all those issues have gone away. Like, this is how I should have been playing. It's a world of a difference. This is a pretty solid controller. I'm glad I got it. I don't know if I have such a transformative experience with the NES controller, but I'm glad I got this OEM controller. And the game that I was playing with the other controller was Mega Man: The Wily Wars. Now, this did not come out, as you can see, the GA, the general audiences. What is this, a movie? This did not come out in the US. We had this on the Sega channel, I found out. It did get a release in EU, but I couldn't find an EU release. I think it got a release in the EU. That was like, I think it was like super expensive or something like that. So this is a reproduction card, but it works well. It saves okay. The cover's a little, cheap, but otherwise, like, it feels weighty. It doesn't feel like a cheap reproduction, I should say. But yeah. And then actually, we're like going on Segway heaven today. Let me do these cartridges of home systems that I have. We're about, I'd say, over halfway done. We've got most of the big stuff out of the way, but we still got plenty to go. So okay. Yeah, I want to say that's almost all the cartridges that I have for home systems, besides Mega Man, which we did. So what do we got here? Superman 64. I'm kind of iffy on it after I bought it. I don't think it has much of a story. I've been watching the DCAU. I started watching that recently. I've been watching quite a bit of it. Not super lately, but yeah, I've watched quite a bit of it. And I want to get the games that have stories like canon to the DCAU or whatnot. And I vaguely heard that this one does, but now that I've started playing it, it seems like a very simple point A to point B plot, so I probably shouldn't have bought it. But I thought, it's an excuse to play what is considered one of the worst games of all time. I'm up to the challenge, I think that'll be fun. Cruising Exotica, just the next cruising game. I don't know where I bought it. I think I bought these on sale together because this one was a bit much, but on sale I was like, okay, I'll get it. DK64 and Majora's Mask, I got these. I know the cover's bad. It's a Crystal situation where it was cheaper because the cover is bad. Although I'm starting to regret it. Oh, and it's got a crack. I'm really sort of wishing I got the, what do they call it, lenticular, where you like move it and like the cover sort of moves when you move it. But it's nice to have it, and it was a lot cheaper since I got that, because this is somewhat of a pricey game. This is another one like Double Dash that is pricey, but it fluctuates quite a bit, so you can kind of get it at around a better price. DK64, I got that with it. I don't have an expansion pack yet, so I can't even test them, but I trust that they work, consider where I bought them from. These two are reproductions, SNES reproductions. This Mega Man Base we didn't get in the US. It was JP only, except for the GBA port, which is not very good. This is always recommended, from what I hear, people to play it on SNES. This game is very pricey, like $70, and I didn't want to pay it for a spin-off game that has like a terrible reception. So I just got a reproduction. I know. And then this is another reproduction. This is Yu Yu Hakusho, another one we didn't get in the US. Now this one, I will say, feels a lot cheaper than Wily Wars. Very, very cheap, but it works. We didn't get it. This is, I want to say it got translated. But I'm excited to play this game. It's Yu Yu Hakusho. It has a surname, but it's not on here, unfortunately. This is legit, though. Again, this is another one like Superman, where it's part of the DCAU tie-in game. The Genesis version doesn't have much of a story, and the SNES version is like very different. So I'm going to try to get both of them. SNES version is insanely expensive, so I'll probably have to get a repro of that. But the Genesis version is very pricey in comparison. Very affordable in comparison, I mean. And I hear this is quite a game, so I'll play it sooner or later. But yeah, that's it for cartridges. Okay, we're back at it again. A few more accessories. We've got a Rumble Pack for the Dreamcast. This one works pretty good. I had to look a bit because the first party ones are pretty pricey. This is a Mad Catz one. I had to look at the different brands, and some of them were like too much, but this one was considered one of the better ones, and it works pretty well. So I think the reviews were spot on. This is a transfer pack. I just got this in 64 so I could play Pokemon Stadium and stuff. I really like the clear back of it. I think that's really nice. And then, actually, now that I pull this out, I realize that I need the other two. But anyway, this is an N64 Forever pack. This, as it says on there, N64 game save file from the N64 save file free from the mercy of dead batteries. So I guess the N64 battery pack uses batteries. I didn't even know that. But this has like FRAM or whatever you call it, or EP RAM. It's basically like it saves to a chip instead of or it saves to a chip that doesn't need battery power, basically, and it lasts like essentially forever. We'll save this, okay? We'll save this like we did last time. And then we've got, this was in the second lot with the Wii. This is a 3DS case with this nice stylus, like right here, a giant stylus. I really like this. It'd be good for drawing or whatnot, or like a puzzle game or something. Which is good because I don't have any standing alone stylus anymore. I accidentally broke the ones that I did have, and this has like 4 things of game holders, which is awesome. It's awesome. I need one because the one that I had on my 3DS XL, it matches it, so it's NES style. So I don't want to split them up. I need one for my new 3DS XL, so that's perfect that was in there. Okay, we're almost done. We've got a small stack here we can do. I kind of want to. No, I'll do that big stack after this. There we go. First up, we've got Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. I just bought this like a couple days ago as of recording, but this. I've been getting an Ace Attorney lately, so I'll be needing that like pretty soon if I keep going in the series. Another one that was limited run. This came out digitally like quite a while ago, and then I looked and saw the physical doesn't come out till months later. I'm like, that's so stupid. I hate how this stuff is being handled lately. It's terrible. It's really like they're purposely killing the physical market, I feel like. But as long as they're still available, I'm gonna keep on buying them, even if I don't even want to support like limited run from some of the stuff I've heard. But Bubsy Perfect Collection, I was pretty excited when this, because I've never tried Bubsy. I might as well. I'll try it out. I'm trying to get like collections like these and Bubsy and stuff. I'm trying to get all of them on PS4. I feel like that's a good system because I want to keep the Series X clean in terms of space for like actual big 9th gen games that need the space. And then like everything else I can just backpedal on the PS4 because I've got a big hard drive on that and stuff like that. Anywho, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, I was super hyped for this. This was like the best thing at whatever direct this is announced at. I was looking at the cover the other day. It's awesome. It's got a ton of games in it. Some of the early like beat 'em ups that the Marvel did, and then it's also got X-Men vs. Street Fighter, stuff like that. Marvel versus Street Fighter games that I had been looking into. It was like perfect time because I had been looking into this because I want to try like this. This seems like straight up my alley in terms of concept. So I'm very excited now. I guess I don't need to show both of these, but I've got 2 copies of Virtual On. The US version is pretty pricey. Again, the Japanese version is pretty cheap. And I got the disc only for pretty cheap, but I didn't want the disc only. And then I heard that that there's like game instructions in this that are like pivotal to play the game because of how difficult the game is. And then I don't know, it was like a spur of the moment thing, but I bought this alongside the Force thing. But I'll see if need be, if I need all that, and then hopefully I can like sell this off or something. It's here because I haven't done that yet. Here's a special one. This is my very first boxed cartridge for any system. This is all that the local game store had. I wanted the game, but I didn't necessarily want it boxed, but a sale came and I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab it. Yeah, it's got the manual and stuff. I'll open it. It's already like, popping open. It's got the manual and the game in there. Quite a bit of space for not a lot of stuff. I think maybe like the EU versions, I'd imagine, usually they have like a bunch of different manuals for different languages. I don't think this is quite for me. I can understand how people would want their cartridges boxed. It's the same way, like I don't want loose discs. I feel like discs are a bit more, because they're so fragile, I'm a bit more like fussy about making sure it's CIB, and it also because they're on a shelf, you know, I gotta make sure I can read the label. Here's a couple more Japanese Saturn. I don't have a ton of Saturn games, but it's slow. It's been a slow process, but a fun one and a very rewarding one. I like having a system I can buy for, and the games are, since I'm so new to it, I'm experiencing the games as I get them. You know, I'm experiencing it as I get them. I'm not like getting the PS2, getting a bunch of games because they're so cheap, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining about that. But a lot of them, like, I'm just now playing them, like, years later, because I just haven't got around to them, or I dropped them at some point and whatnot. Anyway, Nights and Christmas Nights, as of this recording, I've already played that. That's how long I've been sitting on this pickups. I've already played both of these. Amazing. If you combine them, this is amazing. An amazing game. I really enjoyed it. They look very pretty, and I'm happy with them. Actually, I could show. There's quite a bit of inserts in these Japanese. Yeah, you can tell Japanese people keep a lot of care in their stuff. You can see that. What is this? The 3D controller ad. Talking Moon. What is that? Like an audio drummer or something? Huh. I don't know what this is. Looks like a support card or something. And then more coupons. I don't know. That looks like that goes on the end of the CD case, though. Does it not? Sakura Wars. This is cool. I was looking at this the other day. like an ad for new games coming up, Fighting Vipers and stuff. That's just awesome. Like sell you on the game. What is that, Puyo Puyo? I can't tell if that's Puyo Puyo or what. That puzzle game. Here's Capcom. It's what, like Street Fighter Alpha or something like that. And it's really sweet. I don't know if the US stuff came with stuff like this, but it's awesome, even though I can't understand the lick of it. Yeah, more of that sort of thing. Although this is for the game I have. There's like memory cards and stuff. Really cool. That's awesome. That's the joys of buying physical. And then you have the manual on top of it. Awesome. Even I didn't open up the Virtual On Force, but even maybe it's just a Japanese thing. On the 360 it had like a copy of like Border Break, not the manual, I don't think. It might have been the manual, but it was like talking about Border Break and kind of selling you on that game, even though it was, I had Virtual On, just here's another Sega game, I don't know if that's Sega or if that was just a Japanese thing, but it's really cool. Professor Layton and Diabolical Box. I also got this on sale, I think, maybe with Monkey Ball or with Super N64 or what have you. I have one of these. I don't know if this is the second one or third one. There's like 4 of these on the DS, but it's good that I got this because now that I'm into Phoenix Wright, they have a crossover between Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright, and I want to at least be caught up on both series when I play that. So if I have like the first 2 already, that's a good head start on that. We're going to do this huge pile. And just a manga, another Dragon Ball. Must have got this at a different time with something else. He said almost done with it. That one's a bit worse shape, but it's fine. Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. I actually bought this. A not so fun. That needs to be cleaned. I'll have to take a look at that. A not so fun story. Actually, I told it already. I bought like a buy 5 get the 6th one free at a local the movies. I'll call it a local movie store and then a local game store. So I differentiate the two. Local movie store, and this was in it, but it was like had a fake cover. So I think I took it back with some of the games that didn't work. Because I was like, I really don't want this because it looks cheap. But I bought it again with CIB, so I'm happy with that. Kind of a later on game that I'll get to that I just need to fill out a sale for because I don't really buy. I try not to anymore. I try to focus on games that are like next up that I'm going to play in a series and whatnot. Speaking of, Sonic Riders finally got that. I don't think this is CIB. No, unfortunately. I might need to look at the manual though. I finally got this because this one's a little pricey. It's very, especially for Sonic in the 6th gen. Well, yeah, SA2 I would say, and then Shadow fluctuates. Like it'll shoot up if something Shadow comes out, but then any other time it's usually like $40. But this is like, it's like a $50 game. I got it for a little cheaper, thankfully. I was just waiting for one so I could grab. Speaking of games follow-ups, Monkey Ball 2. I just finished the first game a bit ago, like a few months ago. So I got this one, very nice. I did have Monkey Ball Deluxe, but I tried it out and it really sucked on PS2. It wasn't very good, like at all, and it didn't feel right. So I'm like, let me just go with the originals. A couple NES games. I guess I did have more cartridges. Although I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these. This one had the cover, which I see all the time. It's not a Nintendo brand now that I look at it, but I got golf because I want to get, I'm going through Mario at the moment. Supposed to be, but obviously I want the spin-offs, and that starts with golf. But then I did find out that this is in Animal Crossing, and then this just got a re-release in the Bomberman collection on Switch, so I might not keep these, which stinks because I gotta get my hands on some NES games that are like still that haven't been ported or anything, still like exclusive to that system. But we'll see. We'll keep them for now. Bloodwake, I hear this is a good one on Xbox. I need to fill out a sale, like I said. I don't think this was made by the same people who made Crimson Skies, but it reminds me of that game, except for boats instead of planes. Quantum Break, again, another, I was filling out a sale. I didn't know this thing existed. It's a Remedy game, I think. I didn't even know this existed, and it's an Xbox One exclusive, which I'm trying to look for Xbox One exclusives because there's not a ton, but I'm curious what is there. I don't think this works. I think I tried it. It didn't work. They liked including this a lot because I think Alan Wake 2 also has the first game, which is awesome. It's just be generous to the fans. Why not? This is the one guy from, he plays Iceman and X-Man. It's cool. I'm curious what that game's like. Resistance, I've been testing the PS3 lately. I've been cataloging my games like as a collection. I just got done with it a bit ago. But that includes like DLC, so I've been like putting a lot of games in, make sure stuff works. And it turns out that I had in Resistance 1, which I never opened or tested, there was a disc of Resistance 2. So I think I just bought the case of this and then put the disc in it or something like that. So now I have the first two though. Speaking of Sonic on the 6th gen, I got the original game on Dreamcast because I think DX is a downgrade enough to where if I want to play it again, I'm going to play it on this. I think I would prefer to have the definitive version of Sonic Adventure, not a cheap port of it. It's very pretty. It wasn't too pricey. This one's one that's like decently priced, I would say, especially for the Dreamcast, which is usually very pricey. This was in the second lot. I got a bunch of loose discs in the second lot. This, I'm not sure. I know it doesn't work perfectly well, but it does run. But I saw some stuff in here. I'm like, ooh, that looks fun. Like Marvel Madness I'm seeing right there, which is a great game. So I was like, might as well keep it even if it's just the disc. Then we got... Okay, so this is all the second lot that I bought. And I bought it for like $80, I want to say. And I looked at them like, this is well worth it. I try to get the lots, even though this wasn't like a broken console lot. Usually you can find good stuff for people who don't know much about video games. They'll sell all their stuff. If you're quick enough, you can get really good deals on Facebook. But yeah, they had some stuff that I, like this, I wanted to get at some point. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Battlefront, I would like to try at some point. Uncharted 4, I'm sure I'll get to someday. The show, I love baseball. I've never played baseball games minus like Mario Super Slayers, which is obviously very arcadey. But I was like, I might as well I might try it. And, I have like an NBA. I have some, but I don't need like every year, like those people who play those sports games do. Destiny, although this thing is very, it's falling apart. I might get rid of this because Destiny is such a common game. I might get this on a different, I might get like another used copy that's not like falling apart. Or maybe the case will be cheap. I don't know. I'll just keep it for now. I'm sure I will find another one of these in a lot someday and then I'll switch it out. Speaking of like Madden, I'm like, there was 2 Maddens in here. This was the newer one. The other one was like 2017. I'm like, might as well keep it. I have friends over. They might want to play or something like that. I might try it someday. And then Modern Warfare 2019, I want to say this game came out. That's another one that I needed at some point. So I'm like, okay, just cross them off the list. Got them super cheap. That's awesome. So those are the ones that I kept. The other ones I'm selling where they didn't work or whatnot. There was a ton of loose discs. We're almost there. I'm going to save this last stack for last, because that's the most exciting games, I would say. Or rather, the video games are most exciting. We've got some manga. Yeah, that's it. So we've got Sailor Moon, the Eternal editions. Now, I don't know if these have been in my last two pickups since I've been making videos of them. But I have the Sailor Moon Nakoto. No, let's just look at her name. Naoko Takuchi. I usually hear it pronounced that way. Naoko Takuchi. I have those editions which came after this one. I started buying them because they were cheaper. Obviously they were brand new, so I could buy them brand new. I didn't have to worry about, because some of these can be kind of hard to find at a decent price sometimes used. But I was so quick with it as I was reading the manga, so I was like halfway through, and starting with these editions, there's only 10 volumes of the manga, right? Of the main manga. So I have 5 of the Naoko Takuchi ones. I have the first 5 as they were coming out, but I didn't want to wait because I was rereading the manga. So I bought the last 5 of these in the Eternal editions, which are the last edition. The Eternal editions are pricier, obviously. They're huge. Like, look at my hand. Like, these things are like double-sided books. But the Naoko Takuchi ones are not, like at the beginning here is in color. Every volume has like the first few in color. The page, the quality is very nice quality of the paper. Obviously it's huge, which means I can look at the art like a lot closer up. And then they retranslated it again for the Naoko Takuchi versions, which I think one retranslation is enough. This one is great. The other one is a bit too far. Stuff like the legendary silver crystals, which is what they've settled on for the anime translation, the recent anime translation. I'm used to, and that's what this Eternal edition is also sort of sticks to that. And then the Naoko Takuchi ones, they kind of go another step above. So in that version, it's called the Mystical Silver Crystal or something, which is like, I do read the translation notes at the end, and they said either one is pretty accurate, but they just went with that one because it's like maybe like slightly more, but either one works. And to me, that sort of stings me, as we were hired to do another translation, even though it didn't need one. So we're just going to make changes just so we say we do our job. No shade. Like, I'm so happy. I think they're, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was going to say, I think they're, Kodansha, magazine or whatnot. I've been dealing with Viz since I got into anime, because they're the biggest like English publisher. And I think these are what Viz and pretty much any publisher, at least that I'm familiar with, it should be standing by, stuff of quality of this caliber, translations of this accuracy, you know. But I got 1 and 3. This is from Thrift Books, and I codenamed Sailor V the first one. So I'm gonna go ahead with these because I do prefer them. Now that I have half and half, I had a dilemma of which one should I get. I think I'm just gonna go ahead, spend a little bit more and get these. And then I'm going to sell off the Naoko Takuchi versions that I already have. So I just need 2, 4, 5, and then Sailor Moon Volume 2. So that's not that bad. So sooner or later, so this and Dragon Ball were pretty close on. And then there's a bit more manga. We're almost done, like super close to being done. Next we've got... Yeah, we'll do manga since we're still on manga. These have been a long time coming. This is the Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, the box set. It's only 2 volumes, but I think it's the whole manga from what I understand. I knew the manga existed for Nausicaa and some other Ghibli movies, but I didn't know that Nausicaa started as a manga and then got turned into a movie. And apparently the movie only covers the very beginning of this manga. So it's like finding out that one of your favorite, it's like finding out that like one of your favorite TV shows you've only been watching like the first 8 episodes, but the season's actually like 13 or something like that, or the season's actually like 36 episodes or something like that, and you already love the first 8. So you're like, wow, I never knew this. I'm so excited to try this, That's what I would describe it, but I'm really excited to read this sometime. Obviously, this thing's massive. Like, it's huge. It's heavy, 2 giant volumes. But I'm curious to see what else, is in the story and stuff like that. But yeah, this is all. I've been waiting for a while to get it, but it was pretty pricey. I think I'm definitely off on this, but I think it's like $140 manga. But I got it on sale for like 80 or something like that off Amazon. So that's awesome. We got some stragglers here. We'll do those, and then we'll do that last stack. Okay, we got Amiibo. These are from GameStop. They had a sale, like they were like $5 each, I would say. Amiibo, as you can see, $20 new. They didn't used to be super pricey. When they first started, but they weren't cheap when I think they were like $10 each. And then they were scarce. Like, some of them were very rare. Really hard to find, et cetera, et cetera. And then the prices kind of went up over time. So I never really got around to buying much. I just have one. But there were $5 for a certain one. So I got Mr. Game & Watch, since he's one of my Super Smash Bros. Secondaries. I got Peach because I need the Mario ones for Mario and DK Amiibo Challenge, I think it's called, on Wii U and 3DS. So I need these someday. I need the Mario ones. And then Pikachu, I think, was just the only one where I'm like, I think I'm, because I think of them as their, what do you call it? Their functionality in the games, but I also think of them as figures, So I do want stuff that I can actually look at, and nothing else look remotely good. And I needed, I think, a minimum of 3. So I'm like, I'll just get Pikachu because I do like Pokemon. Obviously, I like Pikachu about as much as the next guy. So I just went ahead and got Pikachu, even though I don't really need it. But I'll use it for Super Smash Bros. For sure. Just not, not today, or not as necessary or as eager as the Peach one, or the Mr. Game & Watch one. Okay, we've got, and then, speaking of Amiibo, I almost missed these. I got these used Splatoon Amiibo. I've wanted these for about a decade now. Like I said, Amiibo, they were expensive enough, even being like, and they were hard to find. I just couldn't justify buying them. I found these used for an okay price, about the price of what they used to be. But with the market value nowadays, they're a lot more expensive. This is actually really nice. The ink splashing up on Cali. And this Splatoon actually has a decent amount of stuff, I think, with the Amiibo. They used to put quite a bit of extra content in the Amiibos, but they weren't like, it's a hard balance, because recently they've been locking like major systems that need to be in the game, like behind the paywall that is Amiibo. But I think, from what I know, the Splatoon Amiibo are good. So with that movie store deal, I bought Samba de Amigo, but that was another one. It didn't work, I think. And so I took it back. Samba de Amigo is like a $50 game on Dreamcast. And the maracas that you need, well, you don't need to play the game with the maracas, but obviously that's kind of the point. They're like $100. So I'm like, I really don't want to pay $150 just to play a very short, I would imagine, knowing it's Sega, it's going to be a very short rhythm game. But there's a Wii like remaster sort of remake. I'm like, okay, it's extremely cheap. I'm like, I'm going to go with that, even though I hear it's not the greatest. Just to have some semblance of having played that game. And they did make maraca accessories. I don't think these are not official, but or not these are not the Sega ones, but they are official still. They're like third party. It's not the greatest maraca, but I wanted the full experience that I can get. But I find these online. These I'm like, yeah, I'll get that. And thinking that these were cheap. These maracas, any version of them, are not cheap. I managed to find a listing that had them, because they go for like $40 to $50. I'm like, I'm going to be paying that much when the game itself is like something that goes for like $2 to $4. Like, that's how cheap it is, even in the current economy. So I'm like, if I'm really going to pay that much. I managed to find these for like $25, and it came with the game. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get it, I order it, and then it comes without the game. And I'm like, I messaged the dude on eBay. I'm like, hey, there's no game. Thinking, most people on eBay, myself included, would do this, would just send the game that they forgot to pack in. Anyway, I was going to get some sort of compensation. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna do that. And he's like, okay, I found the game or whatnot. Here's the two options. Either I can refund you in full, or you can send back the maracas and I can resell it to you. What? I've never heard something like that. Like, no one ever does something like that on eBay. It's just so weird. And it's such a discrepancy. I don't think he knew what he was doing. That's such a discrepancy of like, I get full money and I keep the maracas, or you just, or I give it back and I have to pay like even more because I have to pay back the shipping, to send it back. I'm like, this is so weird. Just give me a partial refund or something, or just send me the game like most people do. If you don't want to give out something completely free. But I just took the money, obviously, so I'll have to get the game again. But thankfully it's super cheap, so I'm not too fussed about it. But it's just such a weird experience. Sega Rally, another Saturn game. I think you've seen all the Saturn games I've had so far, but I've bought these over a period of months. I haven't bought them back to back. It's just been so long. Obviously, it's a generic case, but I'm not super fussed about it. Resident Evil Dead Aim. I'm trying to get back in. Well, I would say since the last time I did pickups, actually during the last pickups, I'd say I got back into Resident Evil, but I need to progress more in this game's next step. I'm almost to RE4. I need that Outbreak File 2, and then I'll be to RE4. Capcom Beat 'em Up, or Belt Action, as it's called in Japan. Belt Action Collection. Belt Action. Is that what they call Beat 'em Up in Japan? I think in this only got a US, not a US, a JP physical release. It's digital too, but I've been trying to get. The thing is with Switch, I'll buy like an indie or something, or like a collection like this digitally, and then I'll end up liking the game so much so that I wish I had it physically. So I'm just trying to jump straight to the physical. I mean, I want physical anyway, so I should just do that. I'm okay paying a bit more. I don't have the names, but there's a few of these that I want to get into. Final Fight, obviously, M Commando. This game is called Powered Gear on here, but it's called like Cyberbots or something. It's like a fighting game with robots, which sounds cool. But a lot of these are Capcom games that I want to get into that are also featured in Marvel vs. Capcom. But then I think I found out that a lot of these games are in one of the collections that just came out or something like that. So I'm like, I think it was a bit redundant of a purchase, but we'll see. I'll check it out another time. We love Katamari, much like Monkey Ball. I beat the first game recently, so I got the second game so I can play. Nothing much there. We're almost done. This is the last stack. Superman, Shadow of Apocalypse, again, a DCAU tie-in game. This one's a bit harder to find. Thankfully, I got it on GameCube. Decent price. Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. I was at the local game store again. I was trying to get like a buy two, get one 50% or something like that. They had this. This is a game I spotted with my eye. It was kind of over market price, unfortunately. I still saved a few dollars, but I think I should focus on getting these Ratchet & Clank PS3 games, because when the PS3 store got announced to go down in the PS Vita store, those games shot up like crazy. Even though they're very prevalent, they shot up, and I don't want to pay those prices. So I think I'm just going to buy them while I can, you know. Those are the only ones I'm really familiar with that I should do that for, that I know of. Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I have Budokai 2, but I figured I should play the first one. And this is CIB, which is nice. The one that I have, I think, is like disc only with like a generic cover. Rocket Knight Adventures Respark. This is a collection of the first three, another limited run one. The first three Rocket Knight games are just the 16-bit ones, you could say. I have the original game on Genesis. I bought it physically, the cart, and then I found out about this like soon after. I'm like, I don't want to buy it twice, and I'm clearing out my collection of any double purchases, usually just stuff I want to sell. So I probably would sell it and just keep this one. But this is a nice purchase, because Sparkster and Rocket Knight 2 are both very pricey, I think. Only the first game is really affordable, so it's good that got played. Expedition 33 I've been interested in since it got announced early. I thought the premise was awesome, and then the reviews came out and everyone loved it, so I went ahead and bought it when there was a sale. I love VGP. Most of my stuff comes from VGP. They're awesome. Alien Trilogy, I think I just got this with someone else who wanted to play out here. It's a great game. There's a lot of Alien games I want to get to. And let's not end on that. I see the last game. This is Galgun Returns. I've been interested in this because I can't even remember. I think the series has like a crossover with like Mighty Kung Fu Burst and like another 2 or something like that. So I kind of want to try a lot of those games out on their own. And last but not least, we have Sonic R. Wait. That's not it. I forgot we put off stuff to the side. Sonic R is my last Saturn game. JP version, because the US one is crazy expensive. I had the Gems collection, but I hear that the PC version broke over time, similar to Sonic Adventure DX getting ported over and over again. It like got worse and worse and worse. And I hear that the PC version that was used in Gems is somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not the first version that was like the best, but it's not like the last version, which you kind of need mods just to get it to run stably. But I also saw comparison videos, and I don't like the lighting in the new version. The lighting in the old one looks way better. I'm okay buying it physically anyway. I want to have it, not on the collection. That's fine. And I'll get a better version. I got it on Saturn, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, I forgot we put some stuff to the side. We'll do this first. So I guess we didn't have any more steel books. I'm almost done with them anyway. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 more. Amazon has not really had sales anymore, which saddens me. Most of my Ghibli steelbooks, there's a dent in there. They're steel books, but they're very, I don't know if cheap is the right word. Like soft. You would think they would be harder, but I have a lot of dents in them. It's not great. But anyway, but they don't really have the 2 for 3 anymore that they used to do. It's just a sign of the economy, I suppose. But they do have them on sale individually, usually like 20% off, like almost all the time. So I think I got this with like an order of something else. I got Kiki, and then this got announced and released, to my surprise, recently. From what I understand, GKIDS got the rights to this because this Disney didn't buy. I don't think they bought the rights to this. Obviously, it's a very dark movie, so they probably didn't want it. Someone else did, but I think GKIDS picked up the rights, and then they released a steelbook to fit in with the rest of their collection, which that's amazing. Thank you, GKIDS. GKIDS is the best. If one thing you can come out of this super long Picos video, GKIDS and VGP are some of the best like retailers and publishers out there today. But yeah, I'm really happy to have this with the rest of the collection now, because there's only a few that didn't get steelbooks, at least not in the West, or in the US. There's only a few that didn't get steelbooks that I really want steelbooks for. I don't want the old Blu-rays. It's not going to look good on the shelf. I can only hope that GKIDS grabs the rights or releases them. I think they've released them like in French and stuff, but not the US. I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. I can only hope for that. And then last but certainly not least, let's get to this. So we've got, these are the MemCard Pros, or I guess for this one it's the VMU Pro by 8-Bit Mods. I found out about these recently, but these are pretty much like forever, kind of like the Forever Pack that I have for N64. Well, kind of not really. As you can see, there's SD cards sticking out of the bottom, and there's one on the side of this one. It's basically a memory card, like an infinite memory card. That's probably the best way I can put it. The SD card basically like creates virtual memory cards, it's called, and then you can have them for like, you can have one for each game. You can have pretty much infinite. It's like thousands per gigabyte. You get like 1,000 memory cards or something crazy like that. So I have like small SD cards in here, and then I can have a whole memory card dedicated to one game. And then at least for these two, whenever I boot up a game, it boots to the memory card that's associated with the game. And then all of them are, well, these two are synced up to my Google Drive. So whenever I save a game, it sends the files to my Google Drive, so it's backed up. I can put the SD card in the computer and back up my saves at any time. I never have to worry about the memory cards. Like, I hear they can corrupt sometimes under certain circumstances. I never have to worry about buying more memory cards like I have to in the past. I just have one for the rest of my life, basically, which is awesome. This one's for GameCube, this one's for PS2 and PS1, and then this one's for the Dreamcast. This one's pretty cool, but it was very pricey. There's a whole story about it, but I'm talked out of my gums here, so we're gonna end it off there. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, sometimes I watch these myself. Anyway, that's gonna be it for Picos. A lot of stuff. Yeah, have a good morning, a good night, and good bye.